Hi, welcome to our program. We'll cover the fundamentals of offense. You know, that's the part of the game everybody likes. We'll cover dribbling, ball control, passing, and shooting. And at the end of each section, we'll have some great drills for you. And now I'd like you to meet my longtime friend and coach for 14 years, Dick Helm, who is a great fundamentals coach.
It's extremely important to become proficient in your dribbling skills. Let me give you some reasons why. It's important for the ball and the hand to become one. We don't want you to have to look at the ball when you're dribbling. It must be hit firmly so that the ball quickly rebounds back into your fingertips. You need to become one with the ball with either left or right hand. Heads up, hips down, good balance, all fundamentals to good dribbling. Let's see how it looks. Notice the extension of the wrist as the ball is hit firmly and quickly comes back up into the hand. The head is up. As you practice your dribbling skills, don't look at the ball. We can move to the left hand. Again, the ball will be protected. There's good balance. Note how the ball is hit firmly. You need to be able to keep the dribble going with either hand where the ball and the hand become one.
Dribbling is so essential to good basketball. You must be a good dribbler. You have to use right hand or left hand. And we're going to highlight some areas that will help you to become a good dribbler. First of all, we're going to take a look at the ball in the dribbler's hand. What he has to do is be able to control the ball. And in situations like that, okay, I'm going to highlight right around him. And if you look at that basketball, the hand is spread, the wrist is cocked. It's just like in shooting. You have to control what you're doing. So he's going to control the ball. Now look at the basketball player here, all right? If you look at him, look at his eyes, okay? His head is up. He can see what's happening on the floor. He can see the defender. He can see where his teammates are. He can see what areas are open on the floor. Two very key elements in becoming a good dribbler, right? Control the ball, head up so you can see it. Now we've got to talk about switching hands, okay? We move it over to the left hand, and now what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the knees, okay? Look at his knees, okay? They're bent. They're not straight up. They're not locked. Because if they're locked, then you can't move on the floor. So to be aggressive and be able to attack, you have to be in that kind of position. Look at this arm right here, okay? Look at that arm. Now, what you see is that hand is up. It serves as balance, but also serves to hold the defender away from him. So this helps us to become good dribblers.
There'll be times when a play is developing on offense and you have a live dribble that'll be important to use your body and your forearm to protect the ball. This requires some good balance. It's going to require you being able to dribble with your head up and to protect the ball. Let's see how to do this drill correctly. Notice how he's using his body to shield the ball, forearm, creating space so that the defender cannot get in and knock the ball loose.
One of the most important aspects of dribbling is always to keep your body between the defender and the ball. And we're going to show you what that looks like as you watch right here. Right here, we freeze the frame so that you can see. Now, take a quick look at how we position ourselves. Right here, the offensive player has his forearm up. His body is between the defender, and look where the ball is, out here. So what we've done is we've created that protection for the ball. We're able to keep him there. And if he were to make any type of a quick move, we got this forearm that we could put out and kind of block him off a little bit, right? So you use the forearm for balance as well as for protecting the ball. And now you see that we continue that by keeping our body between the defender and the basketball.
I can't stress enough the importance of using either hand when you're dribbling. So many young players are content to keep the ball in their right hand if they're right-handed, or left hand if they're left-handed. I want you to be able to learn how to use either hand when you're dribbling, and you should feel comfortable with either right or left hand. Let's watch how this is done. There we see right and left. As you practice this, make sure you get as comfortable with the left hand as you do the right. Be able to cross the ball over. Notice that we're hitting it firmly. Good balance. Something that can be practiced daily.
Being able to dribble with both hands is so important in basketball. It allows you to change directions on the floor. It allows you to get away from the defender. So being able to handle that ball with both hands is so important. Now remember, when you do switch hands, let's look at the player right here. What happens when he switches hands is that he's going to bring the ball lower to the floor, okay? It has to be lower to the floor to have great control, but also to protect it from the defender. So as he takes it down, now he's able to grip the ball. The other thing you must be aware of, and we said this earlier, again, is right here, we take a look at his head. Look at him. He's watching the defender. He's watching. He's got his head up. He can see if a teammate breaks open, even though he's switching hands. Okay? So to be able to switch hands and not lose control, get the ball lower to the floor.
The change of pace dribble is used to throw our opponent off balance. Once he's off balance, we can use our explosive speed to penetrate around and make the next play. Work on your change of pace using both left and right hands. Notice how the change of pace is used to be able to explode past our opponent. We adjust our speed, he's not able to react, and we can explode past.
A change of speed in dribbling is such an offensive weapon, and everybody should be able to use it. What you're going to see here is that the players are going to change the speed. And we used to set them up by hesitation or stutter step. And right here, there's a hesitation. Okay, I'm going to show you this. Look how the player stops. The defender is frozen for an instant right here. He's frozen. He's watching the ball. Now he's got the defender flat-footed. And now the acceleration comes in because the defender was flat-footed. He was leaning forward. Right here you see he's leaning forward. He's right on his toes. And that's a tough way to play defense. And now look at the stride that we got by the offensive player. That's acceleration that leads to easy baskets. So he's going to explode right by the offensive man. Now what we're going to come back and show you a combination of acceleration and crossover. Here again we set him up with a little hesitation, right? And you know that the defensive player knows last time he got beat, okay? So look at him. Look at the stride he takes this time. He's not up on his toes. He's back on his heels. He wants to step over there because you're not going to beat me this way again. But the offensive player is smart. He's smart in that he sets him up with the crossover. He crosses over. Now look at the position that he put the defender in, right? First of all, he has no footwork. He can't recover. It's impossible for him to get in front of the offensive player, who now crosses over, uses his acceleration, and is going to go in for a nice, easy basket. Okay, so that's combining acceleration and crossover dribble.
There's an effective place in basketball for the spin dribble. The question is, when to use the spin. We don't want to use it just to look fancy. We'll use the spin dribble when an opponent has made body-to-body contact with us. We can now use his body to spin off of him to advance the ball. Let's see how this is done. Notice that the body contact is made. The defender is coming up, making contact to shut off our dribbler. and he uses his momentum to spin away from that defensive pressure.
The spin dribble is a great offensive tool to use when being pressured by the defense. And we're going to take a look at that situation. We've gone over the fundamentals of the spin dribble, but we're going to show you how the man is actually set up. So as we come down the court here, you'll see the defense really cuts the offensive player off. Now we're in position to set up the defense so that we can spin off. Okay, let's take a look. Here's the ball right out here. He's going to drop the ball behind him so that he can spin and catch it without hesitating, without losing a beat. Also, look at the defensive player. He's to the far side, so we got him out of position. Look at the forearm, okay? The offensive player has his forearm up. He can control the defensive player now. Now he's set to make his spin, knowing the ball will be there and knowing that he can beat the defensive player down court. We're going to take a look at the overhead view, a different angle, and you can see it just as clearly. Look at the defensive player. Okay, again, we got him way on the far side. He's out of position. Look at the forearm. We got the defensive player locked. Look at the ball right here. It's in position so that when we make that spin move, there's nothing going to be in front of you, and you can pursue it right down court.
When and where to use the behind-the-back dribble is the big question. I've seen a lot of players use this behind-the-back dribble because it looks fancy. It has a lot of flair to it, and used very unnecessarily. There are, though, a few times when going behind the back is satisfactory to both coach and player. Let me describe one of the best of these situations. When you're advancing the ball up court and you're being pressured by a defender, in order that you don't get pinned against the sideline, you may use a behind-the-back dribble to advance the ball towards midcourt. We use this dribble then so that we do not have to pivot and bring our back towards the defensive player. Notice the proper use of the behind-the-back dribble as the ball is advanced up court. The reason for going behind the back is so that the dribbler does not have to turn his back to the defender. If you turn your back to the defender, you're susceptible to a double team and you cannot see up court to make the next play. Behind the back, we can see up court, we can make the next play.
The behind-the-back dribble requires a lot of control. You're going to see how we utilize this behind-the-back dribble. We've gone over the fundamentals. You're going to see two players here utilizing it, going back and forth against each other. But we're also going to show you how they set the man up. Right here, we freeze it so that you can see the defensive player is committed to cutting the offensive player off right here in this direction. And the offensive player knows this, so he's going to set him up now. Okay, we're going to take it another step so you could see how the offensive player commits the defensive player to really stepping out to the sideline there. Once that happens, the offensive player now has control of the ball. He's already moving it behind him from his left hand to his right hand, but at the same time, he has his head up and he can see a clear path ahead of him. He sees everything, so now he's able to pursue down court to score an easy hoop. The overhead shot gives us another look at this from a different angle. Right here, you see we got the offensive player. He's got control of the ball. Okay, right here, he's got the defensive player. Look at his feet. He's committed way to this side of the floor. At the same time, the offensive player has already moved the ball. So we're going to show you. Here's the ball. It's already being moved from his left hand to his right hand so that he has a chance to get to the basket in a hurry.
Good dribblers need to keep the dribble as long as they can and protect the ball with arm and body. There will be occasions, though, when you lose your dribble and the defender will swarm all over you. At that point, we need to resort to some good pivoting and ball fakes in order to complete the play. Let's look at this as we go from a dribbling situation into a pivoting ball fake situation. Notice the dribbler is protecting the ball. He loses a dribble, and he has to stay actively involved until a teammate frees himself.
The rule of thumb in basketball is never to pick your dribble up unless you're ready to shoot or pass. Here, the offensive player picks his dribble up. Now he must pivot. He has to pivot left, he has to pivot right to try and find a teammate. And then he must also learn that he can pivot away from the man. And we're going to show you this right here. Look how the defensive player is right up on him, okay? Right here. Now the defensive player is so close, but his pivot foot, okay, is this foot right here, the right foot, okay? And what he can do now is to pivot away from the defender, and we're going to show you that so that when he does, it gives him a quick second to find an open teammate, all right? If not, he has to pivot left, he's got to pivot right, he's got to remember that he can pivot away. Now he pivots away, and what we want to show you is look at the space that he's created. He's created some space. He has 2-3 seconds to find a teammate. He must find a teammate within that time because the defensive player will close the gap very quickly. So learning to pivot, learning to protect the basketball when you lose your dribble is so important.
The jab step needs to be an important part of your fundamental development. The purpose of a jab step is to create space between you and your opponent. One of the important things to remember now is keeping your balance where you can pass, drive, or shoot. Let's look at this very basic step. Notice in the step, we're trying to get our defender to move. Once the defender moves, there's a big chance that he'll be off balance for our shot, our pass, or our drive.
The jab step is an effective weapon in basketball. You fake your defender to step back off of you, gives you a chance for vision left, for vision right. And also, we're going to show you that when we force that defender to step back, if you take a look at here, look at the space that we create now between the defender and the offensive player. So if he stays faked because of the jab step, now you recline back to your original position, and you're in position to either shoot the ball, pass the ball, okay, or dribble around him. So the jab step is a very effective weapon.
We want to show you a great drill for dribbling coordination. 2 basketballs at the same time. Let's see if our demonstrators can use both left and right hand, keep their balance and coordination to keep 2 balls going at once. Notice how our players are keeping their head up. There's great ball control, and both left and right hands. If you're one of those players that's having a difficult time using your left hand, this will be a great drill for you to practice. Once you make the ball a part of your hand, it just opens up so many avenues of your game.
The 2-ball dribble drill is a great practice drill that you can utilize. Only do it outside. Don't do it in the house. Okay, we're going to look at a couple of players right here, and let me show you the difference of the 2 players, okay? Right here, our player right here on the left, look how low he is to the ground. Now that allows him to keep the balls low to the ground. Our player on the right, okay, he's struggling for control. He's got control of 1 ball here, but look at the space from the ground up to the next ball, okay? He's fighting for control. And that's why practice is so necessary if you want to become a good ball handler. So remember, practice makes perfect.
We have a drill for dribbling that accomplishes a lot. The things that it does accomplish, notice the hips down, the way the dribblers protect the ball from their opponent, feet spread, good balance, and the use of both left and right hands. Let's see how well our demonstrators can pull this one off. This is a great drill for you players to try to improve in your dribbling skills. Notice how the hips are down, legs spread, head up. And the players are able to use either left or right hands. A good spin, good protection of the ball with the body and the arm.
Circle dribble drill, a lot of fun. 2 players in a circle, 2 players trying to get the ball from one another, trying to keep control of the ball that they're dribbling without going out of the circle or without losing the ball. Now here you have a lot of fun, but you also practice and you can utilize both hands in this drill.
There are some excellent ball handling drills that you can work on to avoid a defender. This is going to take lots of practice on your part, so you have to be willing to spend some time on it. The first of these is called the in and out drill. We're going to, with a sleight of hand, move the ball one way and come back the other. The second drill that we'll show you is called the crossover. It's an excellent method for changing directions, bringing the ball under the hand of the defender. The third area for you to practice is a drill where we spin and avoid our man and head to the basket. The last is a behind-the-back dribble. All right, let's look at the first of these drills, the in and out. Notice how with the same hand, the ball never leaves the hand of the player. Looks like he's moving one direction, but keeps it in the same hand. It takes a lot of practice to do this drill. The next is a crossover dribble. The defender reaches and the ball is moved right under the defender's hand. Crossover dribble also keeps us from turning our back on the defender. There's the spin. We have the defender moving too far in one direction. We're able to spin off of him towards the basket. Again, the spin. And it enables us to keep on a straight line towards the basket. The last of these now will be behind the back.
The in and out drill. This is a drill that we love to use because it helps you to utilize all the dribbles that we've showed you so far. Okay, the hesitation or stutter step, the crossover, the spin dribble, the behind the back. You get a chance to see all of it in action. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, here we begin right there, the little stutter step, hesitation, go by the man, go right to the basket for an easy layup. Okay, the next one, right here, we're going to come down the court, we're going to make a little crossover. Hesitation, fake, crossover. Hesitation, fake, crossover. This is a nice dribble because you keep everything in front of you again. Now we'll go to the very next one that we talked about, the spin dribble. Here you use your body a little bit, you spin off the defensive player, and now you keep going right for a nice, easy layup. Okay, the last one that we worked on, and that's a behind the back dribble. All right, here we come down. Again, I like this one here. You fake the defensive player all out of position, you go right by him, have great ball control. For coaches or players, this is a great drill. It allows you to practice all the dribbles we talked about with your left hand or your right hand.
A good pass for moving the ball up court or moving the ball around the perimeter of the defense is the chest pass. The chest pass is a fast, snappy pass from one player to another. As we look at the fundamentals of this pass, notice that it should be received waist to chest high. The thumbs are extended down as the wrist snaps on the follow-through. Remember now, a great pass for advancing the ball up the floor to a teammate, a great pass for reversing the ball around the floor against the defense. See how the player steps towards his teammate, arms extended, and notice the thumbs and snap towards the floor, giving the proper backspin. We don't want a backspin on the chest pass that causes a fumble.
We're going to critique the 4 basic passes that we learned from the very first day we pick up a basketball. And that begins with the two-hand chest pass. Okay? Now let's look at our demonstrators. Right here, we're making a two-hand chest pass. We freeze it so that you can see. And I want to point out just a couple of basic things that are so important in this drill. Right here, the player who passes the ball, you see that he takes a step forward in this direction, the direction of the pass. Okay? His arms are extended out as he makes the pass. Also, when he makes that pass, he snaps the ball. His palms are outward, okay, turned down. And that gives a little more oomph, a little more strength on the pass. Now look at the receiver, okay, because this is a two-man drill. You look at the receiver over here, and you'll see that his hands are up, his palms are out. He's ready to catch the ball. This is perfect formation for the two-hand chest pass, for passing it and receiving it. You learn those, and you become a good passer, two-hand chest pass.
The bounce pass is an excellent pass to use in a variety of situations. One of these is when you need to get the ball to a teammate with a defender between the two of you. The bounce pass will take the ball underneath his arm or hand and will be too low for an interception. As we look at this demonstration now, watch the technique for releasing the ball, often with a fake high if you're going to release the ball low. We want to get under the arm of the defender. Let's take a look. Notice the fake high, the ball low. The bounce pass, the arms are extended towards the teammate and the thumbs snap down towards the floor. If you extend that thumb towards the floor, you'll have the proper follow-through. Also notice that the players don't have to guess how high the ball is coming. We don't want the pass to end up and down around the ankles. We don't want the bounce pass to be up over the head. It should end up about waist high.
The bounce pass has to go 3/4 of the way there so that the receiver can catch the ball and be on his way to do whatever he's going to do. Now we're going to show you this. I want you to look at it because we want to show you this purposely. If you look at this pass right here, okay, it's only gone 1/4 of the way. Not a great pass because usually if there's a defensive player, he's in this area here, right? And he'll get his hand on the ball. We want that ball to bounce 3/4 of the way. Now here, look at this pass. Look at the difference, okay? Here it is 3/4 of the way from the passer. That means that the receiver can catch the ball and keep his stride and go on and do what he has to do. So if you're going to make bounce passes, remember, they have to go 3/4 of the way there to be an effective pass.
In developing a variety of passes, the two-hand over-the-head pass is an excellent way to outlet the ball from a rebound. It requires some strength, a snap of the wrist with the thumbs down to outlet this pass anywhere from 15 to 25 feet. As you practice this, all you'll need is the goal. Throw the ball up against the board, retrieve it, a quick pivot to the outside, extend your arms with the ball overhead, and snap those thumbs down with a follow-through. This pass is very effective over the top against sagging defenses and against zone defenses. The defenders come into the middle, and a ball with a two-hand over-the-head pass is taken up over the top of the defense.
The two-hand overhead pass, you want to get the ball up high over your head. Make sure you snap the ball when you release it. And that's a pass we usually use from one side of the floor to the other with the defense in the middle. We don't want them to have an opportunity to intercept the ball. So here you'll see we get the ball up over our heads. We make the pass. We give a little fake at times right there. Now we pass it again cross court. That's how to make an effective over-the-head two-hand pass.
The baseball pass is an integral part of the basketball game. We're going to show you the importance of making this pass and how to do it properly. As our player steps out of bounds and releases the ball down court, I want you to watch how the arm is extended and notice the follow-through with the thumb pointed towards the floor. This is so important to eliminate any curve to the ball. The baseball pass is an excellent weapon in the fast break. Watch our players now as they move out of bounds with the ball, make the baseball pass with a proper release, and we're off for another 2 points. Let's see if you can make this pass as well as our demonstrators. There's the outlet, and we're off on the fast break. Another opportunity, steps out of bounds. Notice how our player gives a good target that can garner you a quick 2 points.
The baseball pass is a great pass for starting the fast break. The thing to do is to get the ball out after a scored basket, get it out of bounds immediately. So we're going to take a look at how that's done. Here the player gets the ball out of bounds immediately, and look at the position of him. All right, first of all, I want to show you a couple of things. Right here, he is out of bounds, okay, quickly. Look at the ball. His arm is up, it's cocked, it's ready to throw the ball. His teammate out here on the court is already in stride, taking off so that we can get a fast break going. Now he makes the pass, okay? The player catches the ball in stride right here, and look at that. He's got the ball. He doesn't have to turn. He doesn't have to do anything but go down court and score an easy basket.
Catching the basketball, another lost art. I believe John Wooden, the famous coach of the UCLA Bruins, had the best teaching technique on catching that I've ever heard. One of his points was to make sure that the palm is always extended towards the ball. Too often players fumble a pass on a fast break, fumble a pass made into the post because their palm is not opened up to the ball. Once the palm is open to the ball, it's difficult for it to pass on through the player's hands. As the ball strikes the palm, the other hand should come up and firmly grasp the ball. This technique can be used in passing the low post to a forward or from guard to guard. Now remember, as you watch this tip, make sure your palm is open to the ball. As our player catches the ball, he's not only giving a target, but notice the palm is opened up to the ball. Too often players will have their hands extended and the ball will bounce off, resulting in a turnover. Again, open palm and tuck. Open palm and tuck. If you're a player that's had problems with turnovers, or if you fumble the ball when it's thrown to you, try this little technique.
Catching a pass is the easiest thing in basketball if you're ready. Most passes are fumbled because of a couple of reasons. The very first one, the passer and receiver did not make eye contact. The other reasons are that the receiver doesn't have his hands up, he's not ready to receive the ball. You must always think that you are a receiver. So always have your hands ready, palms out, so that when you catch that ball, you can bring the other hand to the ball and tuck. And that's what we mean by catch and tuck.
This next drill will give you an opportunity to practice a variety of passes that we've been discussing. All you need is a partner, a driveway, or the gym. Here we see the whole variety of passes. The good bounce pass. Notice the arm extension. Notice the follow through, the hand and fingers, thumb snaps down on the bounce pass. Follow through is so important in completing a pass.
This is an easy little drill for you. It's called passing partners. You get a partner to work with you. If you can't find a partner, go outside and use a wall, okay? But in this drill, you want to pass and practice all the type passes that we talk about. The bounce pass, two-hand chest pass, overhead pass. Remember, a bad pass can affect your teammates' chances to score. So let's work on the passing, okay? And let's make sure that we do good two-hand chest passes, good bounce passes, good overhead passes.
Ball fakes are such an important part of good passing. We're going to see some of these ball fakes, and one of the things that I want you to observe in this next drill, when our players fake high, they're setting themselves up to make a low pass. When they fake low, they're setting themselves up to make a high pass. The object is to make the defender move to set ourselves up for a successful pass. There's a good wraparound pass. Another one, the fake high. There's the fake high and the pass low. Fake low and the pass high. There's a good wraparound pass, the pass over the top. These are all drills that you can implement with a couple of your teammates. Work on those passes.
This next drill is called the man in the middle, okay? It requires 3 players. We put a guy in the middle on defense, and we have 2 players on opposite ends passing the ball. The man in the middle tries to steal the ball. So again, you get a chance to practice all your passes. Here, remember, give a nice fake, okay? And right here, you'll see the player fakes the ball up for a pass. We get the defensive player up on his toes, about to jump into the air, trying to receive the pass or steal the pass. But once we get him in the air, you're going to see that we step around, make a nice bounce pass. So again, you get a chance to utilize all the type passes we talk about. The overhead pass again, bounce pass, okay? This is a great drill, and the more efficient you get at it, the better your passing is going to be.
There are a lot of elements that go into making a good pass. Hand-eye coordination, peripheral vision. Now, in this next drill, as we take a look at it, it's a rapid-fire drill, one that you can use in the driveway or the gym, but you better be prepared. You're going to have good timing and coordination. Let's see if our demonstrators do. You can see why good peripheral vision is important in this drill. You have to be quick reacting with hands and eye coordination. This is a drill that you can incorporate yourself with some teammates, and it'll be fun to see if you can do it as rapidly as our demonstrators. There's a good chest pass, thumbs extended, doing 2 balls with a good bounce pass. You have to keep your head up and use lots of concentration.
Our next drill sometimes is called the rapid fire drill or the machine gun type drill. It's a drill that's a fun drill, but it also gets you a chance to practice all the type passes that we talk about. Yet, your eyes are very important to stay on the ball. Okay, let's take a look at what we're talking about. Right here in this drill, you're going to see that all the players are passing the ball to one guy. So he has to keep moving. He has to be ready to receive the ball and pass it and get rid of it and catch and get rid of it and catch. We're going to keep this drill going a little bit so you can see how it's done. It can be a fun type drill, okay? Here we're doing a bounce pass. We do a two-hand chest pass, right? Back and forth, back and forth. The whole time, the player has to keep his eyes on the ball, okay? This is a great drill for hand and eye coordination.
The 3-man weave gives us a good opportunity to look at 2 of the passes that we've discussed in action. We'll be looking at the chest pass and we'll be looking at the bounce pass. Notice how our players are able to hit a moving target.
The 3-man weave is a great practice drill for passing on the move. We're going to have a chance to look at that and see how the players weave in and out, making all the type passes we talk about, bounce pass, chest pass, overhead pass, or whatever. So here, let's take a look at it. The players start by passing the ball, running behind each other, nice bounce passes where they can catch the ball and do whatever they want to do. Let's take another look at 3 men weaving the ball. Right here, we're going to start out, we make the pass, and right here we freeze it so that you can see that that bounce pass went 3/4 of the way. It came right up so that the player receiving it, you see his hands are out, he's ready to catch the ball, and he can do 1 or 2 things with it. He can pass to a teammate, he could go into the basket and shoot, whatever. So the 3-man weave is a great practice drill for passing on the move.
In this drill, it's so important to be able to find the open man when we're making a pass. This is a real fun drill that you can use with some teammates in the gym. We're going to use a variety of passes, but I want you to notice how we try to break the defense down and create an opening. This requires good peripheral vision. Notice how the players will have their heads up as they try to make this play. There's a good dribble move to break down the defense with a pass across the court. Again, we're trying to create an opening for a teammate by breaking down the defense. There's a skip pass across the top. Another skip pass. Another skip pass. You see, in live situations here, we're going to get a chance to practice all kinds of passes. The bounce pass. There's the open man. As we get the ball, there's a creation of a good opening with a ball over the top. It's a great drill for you to practice these passes and enables you to use your peripheral vision in finding the open man.
Okay, we're going to talk about a finding the open man drill. Here we have the defense on the floor going against offense. And we're going to go against all the type passes that we've talked about so far. So we're going to begin with the bounce pass, okay? So let's see how that looks with the defense on it. Right here, the defense pressures, we make a nice bounce pass. Here, oops, we make a mistake. We go to the baseline with nowhere to go. Now let's look at that, okay, because we need to learn from this situation. Here, the offensive player comes on the baseline and the defense has him shut off. This defensive player is in position to step in and steal the ball if he passes it. This defensive player is open also to the ball. So what he should be doing is what we talked about earlier, is that when you practice your pivot drill, the offensive player should pivot out this way, His teammate up top here then could step over and we could make the pass back to the top. This is a bad pass, okay? And you're very lucky if you get this pass through. All right, we continue to drill. Again, bounce pass to the top when pressure comes, over the head pass, again, skip pass cross court, two-hand chest pass, two-hand chest pass, skip pass. This is a great drill. Here the defense closes in again, two-hand chest pass back to the top, over the head pass, skip pass again. So we're getting a lot of work in on this drill. The defense almost steals the ball, but we get it out. Nice bounce pass there, nice bounce pass again. Again, pressure, overhead pass, okay? Pressure again, pass out to the top, bounce pass. We're getting a lot of work in on this drill. Now we're going to see a great pass, okay? Let's take a look at it. The defense here has the player trapped, right? We got defense on both sides of him. This defensive player is hedging towards the top because he thinks the ball is going to go back to the top and he can step in and steal it. But instead, we're going to make a skip pass. All right, here the pass goes over the top. Great skip pass. Again, we continue to drill. This is a great drill to practice against all the type passes we talk about.
Players love offensive basketball. We all like to shoot the J or the jumper. Remember the term beef, B-E-E-F. If you concentrate on those 4 letters, you can coach yourself through some of the valuable fundamentals in being a good jump shooter. The B for balance. Make sure that your feet are set after you've come to a good jump stop. You'll be in a slight crouch as you pick the ball up off the dribble. As the ball comes up off the dribble, you want to bring it where it is up over the elbow with the wrist cocked. You'll notice a lot of these fundamentals are the same in free throw shooting. Next, eye on the target. So we've got the B-E-E, balance, elbow, eye on the target, and the F is a follow-through with the extension and the 2 fingers towards the target. Now, as you practice this, break it down yourself. Do you have good balance on your shot? Have you come to a good jump stop with your feet so that you're ready to explode up? Next, is your elbow in position with the ball directly over the elbow? So many players have their elbow out away from the ball. Elbow should be under the ball, not out. While that's being adjusted, your eyes are focused on the target. Some players wait too long to pick up the target. You should have a good 1-second look at the basket. And the F, follow through. Make sure that the fingers extend towards your basket. Let's look at the beef now. Check their balance as they're going up for the shot. Is the ball over the elbow? Eye on the target. And look at that follow through. Make sure that your arm is extended with your first 2 fingers pointed at the goal. Another big aspect of the jump stop is feet firmly planted as you head up for the shot. Hopefully now, after you've watched this demonstration on shooting, you'll be able to bring home the beef.
Everybody likes to shoot the basketball, and most people refer to the fundamentals of shooting We call it the beef principle, and I'll explain what that means to you, okay? The beef principle means having good balance, okay? Having your eyes on the target, your elbow in, tucked in, pointed down to the ground, and follow through, okay? That's what the beef principle means. So we're going to look at some players shooting the ball. And right here, let's take a look at this player. Let's see if he has the beef principles in mind. And he certainly does. Look at him. He has great balance. He's squared to the basket, okay? He's in a crouch position so he can spring into action. Look at the ball. The ball is up. He's got his eyes on the target. Okay, let's follow through and see if the rest of the principles come into effect. Right here, look at that great follow through. All right, he's got his eyes locked on the target. He's followed through. Look at his hand. They're extended. The ball is in the air, okay? This is the beef principle at its best. So if you want to be a good shooter, work on the beef principles.
It's very important for offensive players to know how to get open before they receive the pass. It's one thing to be on the court for a number of minutes and never be able to get the ball. We wouldn't want that to happen. So if you're a good offensive player, you must have a system for getting open to receive the pass. Without the ball, you're not going to be able to score. Here are a couple of tips that will show you for getting open when you don't have the ball. The first of these, if you're overplayed, you want to take your man higher in order to do a backdoor cut if you're a perimeter player. So let's look at that. We see the player, offensive player here, being overguarded. He moves to the outside, takes one more step to keep his defender moving, and then cuts sharply along the back door. Now let's watch this carefully. There's that extra step to keep his man moving. Now, as we hold it for just a second, we're going to advance out, and just before the pass, we're going to stop. So we're coming out from to catch the ball. Now we stop right here. Now that's not enough. If this happens in a game, you want to take one more step to make your man move. Never let him stop so that he's off balance. See how the defender is leaning. Once he's leaning, make your cut to get open. So remember that tip as we show you again. If your man is overplaying you high, take him higher. All right, let's look at it. He takes him up, takes him one more step, he's off balance, and he's able to go in for the slam. Now let's look at it if he's underneath the basket being defended. The player is guarding him somewhat behind. Now instead of just quickly going outside where he can be defended, he's got to actually take him lower now. So if you're guarded low, take him lower. Now break out. And we see that he's off balance again and can receive the pass to make his offensive move. Let's look at it again. If you're guarded low, take him lower and break out. Good. One more time. If you're guarded low, take him lower and break out. All right, another method of getting loose is, if you're closely guarded, is to make a sharp V-cut to get open. We're going to do this by walking our defender up the lane. So we're going to take one or two steps, now break to the perimeter, and receive the pass in shooting position. Now this helps us to get loose from a player that's guarding us very closely. Let's look at it again. Up the lane, a quick breakout, and we've got the ball in our shooting range. Now let's review quickly what we've talked about. The first one, if he's guarded high, we're going to take him higher. If he's guarded low, we're going to take him lower. If he's guarded where it's difficult to get the ball on the wing, we're going to walk him up the lane and break out.
Getting open in basketball is not that easy. It looks easy, but it really isn't. Now, Coach Helm covered 3 ways of getting open by taking the man high, taking him low, and walking him up the lane. We're going to review that right now. So the first one we're going to look at is taking the man high. All right, right here, the defensive player is really playing up on the man. So two things have to happen. One, you got to take him high enough, okay, so that we get him out there reaching. And once you get him up high enough, two things have to happen. One, you got to give a little fake like you want to receive the ball. You got to have eye contact with your teammate who is standing there with the ball. And once you do that, once you get him up that high, a little hesitation, the defensive player is reaching for the ball. Now, the offensive player reverses his direction and heads to the basket. Usually, that will get you an easy layup. Okay, now we're going to look at the other one. That is taking the man low. And here again, you see the offensive player takes him into the lane. Or as we say, take him low, but he takes him into the lane. Now, anytime you go into the lane, the defender has to defend because you're so close to the basket. So now he gets into the lane, and then all of a sudden he changes direction to come out where he can receive the ball and square up to the basket. So we catch the ball. Now he has a chance, okay, to create space to face the hoop. All right, the third one is walking the man up the lane. And here we do it. We take the man right here. We walk him up the lane, and we stop right in there. Now, you know we can't stay in there very long because it's a 3-second lane. But you walk him up, and again, the defender has to defend you. Now, we get up the lane here. Now, pop out quickly again, and you're in position to receive the ball. So you can get open. All it requires is just a little bit of work.
Shooting involves a lot of things beyond the fundamentals that we've been discussing. One of these important features is creating space with a good quick jab step to free yourself up for the shot. A quick explosive step to the basket to free ourselves up. Watch the footwork and the pivoting to square the shoulders towards the target. We're going to review all the fundamentals that we've discussed on the shot. Ball over the elbow, the follow-through, release, eye on the target. Let's watch our demonstrators now as they do this. Notice the square up, the good quick first step off of the ball fake, it's important as we release the shot not to drift through the air. Our players are going straight up, eye on the target, with a follow-through to the basket. Notice they're using both left and right hands as they attack the basket for the shot. Another important feature that they're doing is staying within their shooting range. One of the tendencies for young players is to go too far away from the basket to work on these shots. Remember, stay in your range.
We talked about the fundamentals of shooting. Now we want to incorporate that with shooting on the move, okay? So again, the fundamentals have to come into play, and that's putting the eye on the target, squaring up to the basket, right? Giving a nice jab step, a fake to create the space, get the man off you. But the principles have to stay the same. So as you watch our players come, okay, right here, the dribble to the lane, the stop, the square up. And now let's look at our player right here. He squared up perfectly to the basket. Look at him. And he gets nice elevation from the floor. Now, it'll be different with each player as to how high you will jump. But the biggest thing is that no matter how high you jump, you want to have the ball at the top of your elevation, right here. So that there. Now, look at this. A couple of things. This is great. The elbow right here is pointed down to the ground. It's tucked in, okay? The ball is sitting up on his shooting hand. It's cocked. It's ready to go to the hoop. His eyes are locked in on the target so that now, if he follows through, his momentum should take him forward. So let's see how that looks. There. Okay, he comes down. He's going forward. Your momentum should always take you forward on a shot. Now, as these players are shooting, we might mention just a couple of things. When you're moving to your left, dribble with your left hand. When you're moving to your right, dribble with your right hand. Now what that does, it allows you to get into the shot quicker. It allows you to square up better, okay? And it makes it a much easier target for you. So these players are doing all of that. There's a nice little jab fake. He moves to the middle using the left hand, right? Another fake, move to the middle, left hand. Shoots with his right, okay? You always want to square up to the basket. So all the fundamentals we talked about are so important if you want to become a good shooter.
Obviously, we don't want to have our shot blocked, so there are specific techniques that we can use to create a space. We want to get that shot off for either the 3 or the 2-pointer. We want to also be in a position where we can pass, shoot, or drive. We call that the triple threat position. So something has to work out for us when we create space. We want to use a minimum of ball faking with our arms. We want to use more short, compact fakes with our head and shoulders so that we remain in position to make a good attempt at the basket. Notice a good jab step and the space. Again, space. Again, space, and coming right up for the shot. Now, as they hold their position, you'll notice one of the things that was done. Very little movement of the head and the shoulders. There was not excess movement. The player maintained a position where as soon as he had space, he was ready to go up immediately for the shot. Let's look again at creating space from this good offensive position. The defensive player is up tight, he drives them off, and he comes back. Now, let's say that the player moves back into that space. That's an excellent opportunity for us to drive and look for the shot. So now, as he steps the player off and the player comes back into the space, he's got to drive to his right and simulate a shot. There's a space, the player moves back into that space, and he's able to drive because he's created there's a space, he moves back to the space, and he's in a position to drive and take the shot. Let's look at that again. He's got the space, the player's off balance because he moves back into the space, and he's able to get the shot. One more time. There's the space, he moves back, and he's able to go. Now this time, let's say it's a really good defender, and we're going to create the space. He's got to move back into the space, he's got to drive, but the defender's still with him. Now he's got to create a second space by using a step back on the shot. Let's look at that move. There's the step, the space, the drive, and the step back for the space. Let's look again. Space, the drive, and the space. One more time. I want you to watch this footwork, players, so you can try this on your own. There's the step, the space, the drive, and creates another degree of space.
Creating space for a shot is not that simple either, because you have to give good fakes. We're going to take a look at how that is done, okay? So the first thing we want to see is that what happens, how does a player react when a defensive player comes up on him? All right, let's take a look at it. Right here, you see the defensive player is right up on the man. So we give him that nice little fake, that jab step, okay? Now, two things happen right away. Once you give him the jab step, the offensive player has created space right here. He's created space. So he's wide open for the jump shot, or he's wide open to make a pass to a teammate who might be cutting to the basket, who might be posted up. So we've created two situations by creating that space. Now, what happens if the defensive player recovers? Okay, if he recovers, you know that he's moving towards you. So now that's a great opportunity to set him up, and now we move on him, okay? Now that's where the shooting on the move comes in. And so we move, we get down into this position right here. Now look at here. We got great spacing, okay? Because we were able to move, we got the spacing there. Two things again. He's open for a jump shot, he's open for a step back shot, he's open for a pass. So we're in the triple threat position again.
Offensive rebounding is worth so much in the game of basketball. In fact, every possession gained off of an offensive rebound is worth over a point. Therefore, the more times that we can get second shots, the more points we're going to put on the scoreboard and the more games we're going to win. Often this is a phase of the game that is overlooked. Players will often head down floor without making an attempt to secure the offensive rebound. There are three basic ways to get an offensive rebound. We're going to show you those three ways depending on the positioning of the defensive player. The first way is called the pin under. The player is underneath the goal, and you'll notice that the offensive player locks him with his forearm and pins him under the basket. Therefore, he has an advantage to get any long rebounds coming out the side. Again, let's look at it from its beginning. The defensive player is caught underneath the goal. He's locked with a good forearm. Remember now, players, the forearm cannot be extended, otherwise it's a foul. But he has him locked. The second way, if the defensive player is a little further away from the basket, in this position, we're going to use the step over with an arm slam over the top. Again, let's look at it. We're caught a little further away from the basket. He drives the arm down and steps over with the inside foot. Let's look at it once more. Again, he uses the arm properly, steps over, and we've secured perhaps an extra point for our team. The third way, if you get caught along the baseline, a spin to the middle of the floor is the most effective way of getting the offensive rebound. Again, you're trapped on the baseline, you spin, and you have a chance to recover the ball.
Rebounding can help you win games, and as Coach Helm mentioned, there are ways to be a good offensive rebounder. We're going to take a look at a couple of those just in review. The first one that Coach Helm talked about was the pin under. Okay, a lot of times a defensive player is caught underneath, and what you want to do is go ahead and put your body on him. Let's take a look right here. Right here, we got our body on him. We don't want to bring our arm up and grab him because then you get a foul call. But right there, lean on the defensive player. Lock, control him. Keep him under the basket so that when the ball bounces out, you're the first one to it. Okay, let's look at the next one. And the next one is to bring the arm over the man. Okay, so right here, usually he's got position. Right there, we brought the arm over, but at the same time that we bring the arm over, which sort of knocks him off balance, we step through right here. See, we step through so that we can lock the player behind us. And now we're in position for a really good rebound. The third way then, okay, sometimes you get caught on the baseline. And when you're caught on the baseline and you have nowhere to go, you want to use body contact to spin off the man. And here again now, we got contact, we got arm to arm. Don't bring the arm up. I'm going to keep reminding you. But here we got him locked. We've created that contact. We're using his body to spin off. So right here, now we want to spin right into this area here. Okay? And once we do that, remember, never lose sight of the defensive player. The ball will come to you, but keep him locked out.
The layup is the highest percentage shot in basketball. Therefore, we want to develop the proper fundamentals and technique to make this shot every time. Here are some things to look for as you develop the proper layup. You want to have good extension off the floor, a good horizontal lift up near the target. Also, keep your eye on the target. Don't look down at the floor or for another defensive player moving in. The ball should be released with the palm up in order to cushion the shot as it comes off of the glass. we want to develop this same technique so that we can come off of either our left or right foot in giving the layup shot. Some of you may have trouble using the right foot and the left hand. It requires a lot of practice, but it can be mastered. Let's see what the proper layup looks like now as our players go through this drill. There's good extension. The ball is released up near the target. Again, good extension. Notice how close they are to the target. The arm is fully extended. It makes a short shot. The ball is only about 2 feet away from the rim when it's released. Again, the head is up. Good soft release with the palm up. And very good horizontal extension. Players are all using their left foot and their right hand.
There are way too many layups missed in a ball game. Layups are very important, and if you do the correct fundamentals, you'll make them. And that's releasing the ball, getting good extension, getting it high on the board. When you don't do that, then you put yourself in a position to miss the basket. Now let's take a look at this right here. The player has done a number of bad things, okay? First of all, the ball is right here at the bottom of the board, the bottom of the square. It should be up here, high on the square. Secondly, look at his arm. It's in an L shape. It's not fully extended. Look at where he is. He's totally under the basket, which makes it a difficult angle to make a layup. So what happens is he's going to miss, and he's going to cause his teammate to miss too, right behind him. Now right here, let's take a look at the next person. He gets the ball high up on the board, right? Up along that square. His arm is extended, fully extended here. He gets nice height, good full extension. Layups are so important. Anytime that you get an opportunity for a layup in a game, we want to make it.
I'm going to talk you through the proper routine for hitting at least 75% from the free throw line. Follow closely because I know you can do it. Number one, develop a routine and keep the same routine each time that you shoot free throws. Perhaps this routine will involve the number of times that you bounce the ball. A lot of players like to loosen up with taking 2 or 3 dribbles before they shoot. This sets the routine in their mind. It's important, whatever your routine is with the ball, to do the same each time. So remember, start with the same routine. The next is setting your feet at the free throw line. I'm left-handed, so my left foot is going to be slightly ahead of my right foot. This enables me, as the ball is released, to have my balance go forward on my left foot so that I can keep balance. Too often, if my feet are parallel, it jerks the ball off flight. So balance is important. Good routine, good balance at the free throw line. Next will be the position of the ball in my hand. I would like for you to take the ball in your hand in such a way that you can cock the wrist all the way back prior to the shot. Now you see that my wrist is back in a V-shaped form. I don't want to bring my wrist only partially back. I want the wrist all the way back prior to the shot. Next, I would like to keep the ball as much over my elbow as possible. So as I bring the ball up and cock my wrist, notice that the ball is basically over my elbow. All right, let's review this so far. A good routine, balance, and ball, hand, and arm. Notice the ball over the elbow and the wrist cocked. The next point in being a good free throw shooter is to keep your eye on the target, and to do so for at least 1 second prior to releasing the ball. So now that I have my balance, and now that I have the proper position of the ball over my elbow and my wrist cocked, my eyes are focused on the target for at least 1 second. I've paused, I'm in a crouch, the ball is over my elbow, and I'm just going to stroke the ball just simply up and out with my eye on the target. As the ball comes off my fingertips, it'll leave my first and second fingers last. And those two fingers will follow through at my target. All right, let's back up and cover this one more time. A very important feature if you're to shoot 75%. Develop your routine. Good balance at the free throw line. Perhaps 1 foot slightly ahead of the other. Next, ball, hand, and arm. Ball over the elbow, wrist cocked. And from that position, I'm able to eliminate excess motion when I release the ball. I take a slight pause, and I extend my elbow straight up with my guide hand on the side of the ball. The guide hand has nothing to do with the shot. It simply keeps the ball positioned on the shooting hand. Don't overcompensate as a free throw shooter by using your guide hand as part of the shot. Now as the elbow comes up and the ball is released off of these two fingers, I follow through with my hand and fingers pointing at the target. If you practice this enough, this technique of these points, I can assure you that you can shoot 75% or better from the free throw line. Let's see how our players adapt to these fundamentals that we've discussed. As we begin our free throw technique here, notice the balance at the free throw line. 1 foot is slightly ahead of the other. The wrist is cocked, and the ball is already up in the shooting position. As the ball is up in the shooting position, please note that there's very, very little excess motion. The shot is simply a straight extension of the arm with the fingers going towards the basket in their follow-through. Now, a lot of you players that are watching this, I know from experience, are using too much excess motion. Notice these players, how simple the stroke is as they release the ball. Same routine each time. The wrist is cocked, and there's no excess motion. No swinging of the ball from side to side. No bringing of the ball behind the head. Eyes on the target. Same routine. Excellent follow-through.
Games are won or lost because of free throw shooting. Coach Helm covered all the fundamentals very thoroughly about good free throw shooting. So we're going to touch on just a few to remind you what it takes to be a good free throw shooter. Now let's look at our demonstrator. The first thing you want to do is get comfortable at the line. And when you do, you get comfortable, you get set. And let's take a quick look at him. Here he is set, all right? His arms are extended. He's got the ball out in front of him. His eye is on the target. He's got great balance. Look at his feet down here, okay? He's got great balance here, all right? Now, the next thing you want to do is go ahead and shoot the ball, okay? Here, he's got the ball up. It's cocked. Look at there. Look at the wrist. The ball is cocked. This offhand is just a guide hand. It doesn't do anything. Right here, the elbow, again, pointed down towards the ground, okay? And he's up on his toes because you want all your momentum to go forward. All right, let's see what that looks like when he follows through on the shot. Look at the backspin on the ball. I mean, that's great. And if you do that, you too can become a good free throw shooter.
Form shooting is an excellent way to practice the fundamentals that we've discussed. Notice now some of the things that we've discussed in good shooting. Feet are spread approximately shoulder width. The ball and the wrist are cocked preliminary to the release of the shot. The wrist should be cocked back, as we see right there. With the wrist back and the ball over the elbow, the shot is extended with the eye on the target. Don't follow the flight of the ball with your eye. Watch the target. As you release the ball, make sure that the first two fingers on your hand are released towards the target. Don't roll the wrist one way or the other.
Coach Helm talked about 5 practice drills that can help improve your shooting. Let's review them. The first one we see is the form shooting. All you need is a partner, okay? And you don't really need a basket. All you need is a partner and a ball. So what we're doing here is building muscle memory. So form shooting, the follow through, okay, the release, the grip, the stance, all the same fundamentals that you use in shooting.
A good warm-up shooting drill is called the Mikan drill, named after George Mikan, famous NBA All-Star. The points of this drill involve using both left and right hands and left and right feet. Let's watch now as our demonstrators show us how to get off rapid shots using both left and right hands. Some of you players watching this tape now know that you have problems using your left hand. This is an excellent drill to develop that. Left hand off the right foot, right hand off the left foot. So he's getting plenty of practice so that when the game starts around the goal, he's able to use either left or right hands. A lot of you are going to need to spend some time developing this particular aspect of your game.
The next practice drill that we look at is the Mikan drill. This is a drill that helps you to get comfortable with both hands, right? And that's what we want to do around the basket. We want to be able to utilize the left hand, we want to use the right hand, okay? So the Mikan drill helps you do that because you're shooting on both sides of the basket, you're using both hands. A great drill.
A terrific shooting drill that you can practice involves 2 players, one the passer, one the shooter. After you've had plenty of time practicing your shot, let your teammate come to the perimeter and take his turn. Now let's look at some of the things that are involved in this particular 2-man drill. We're going to be working hard to get open for the pass. We're either going to shoot as we catch the ball, or we're going to dribble and shoot the ball. So we need to learn to catch and shoot, and we need to learn to catch, dribble, and shoot. A terrific drill for accomplishing this objective. Notice we're moving to get open. Catch, fake, dribble, shot. Catch, fake, dribble, and shot again. Catch and shoot. As you practice this, you're working on your balance, all the fundamentals that we've discussed, and you're getting in plenty of shots. Again, a good square up with the shoulders. A good fake, dribble, and shot.
Another good shooting drill is the partner shooting drill. This is where you get a teammate, you go out there, and you have fun, you have games. You try all the things that we talked about. Utilize all the fundamentals. Catch and shoot, shoot on the move, at the same time employing all the fundamentals of shooting. You can play games where it's horse, or see how many shots you can make in 30 seconds. A great drill.
As you practice the fundamentals of the shot, an excellent drill to do this is the 2-ball rapid fire drill. If you can pick up 2 playing partners, get a court, and let the ball fly, you'll find that this drill will incorporate a lot of the fundamentals that you've been working on. Notice as we're catching the ball in this drill, we're opening up to the ball, and there's a pivot off of the left foot. So that we catch, we're in the shooting position, and the shot is released. It's very important to get a quick release on the shot. So as you incorporate the fundamentals that we've talked about, begin to practice rapid fire. All right, now let's look at the shot from the wing position. Again, now we're pivoting off the right foot. This will be good practice for you, using both left and then right foot to square up for the shot. Notice the technique of our shooters. They catch the ball in the shooting position, the wrist is cocked, the ball is over the elbow, and the follow through with the eye on the target.
We're going to look at the 2-ball shooting drill. This is a drill that really helps you to develop a quick release. It's something that all players need to have, especially when you start to play competitive basketball. You want to be able to catch, square up quickly, and release the ball. Again, employing all the fundamentals, but developing that quick release and also becoming a good shooter at the same time.
I'd like to show you a great drill when you're working alone that covers a lot of techniques. You're going to be working now on your shooting, your pivoting and squaring up, your shot release that we've discussed, your rebounding, your squaring up to the basket with proper pivots. You can do this out in your driveway or the gym, and you can get a lot of shots off during your practice time. Remember now, you're really passing to yourself with the proper backspin on the ball. Let's see how this is done. All the while you're doing this, you drop the ball out in front of you with a backspin. You know where you can get it, just like you're receiving a pass. While you're doing this out in the driveway or gym, you can get a lot of shots off per minute. Remember now, you're working on a lot of fundamentals. You're working on your pivot. You're squaring up. You're working on the beef of the jump shot.
If there's no one around, just you, the ball, and a basket, use the toss-out drill. Toss the ball out in front of you, catch it, shoot. It's a fun drill. I hope you enjoyed our program on offense. Also included in this package will be fundamentals on defense. We'll cover stance, footwork, pressuring the ball, help defense, denial defense, post defense, blocking out, and rebounding. And at the end of each section, we'll have some great defensive drills for you. Thanks again for watching. Welcome to our program. We'll cover the fundamentals of defense. And remember, defense will keep you in the game. And if you're in the game, you have a chance to win. We'll cover the fundamentals of stance, footwork, pressuring the ball, help defense, denial defense, post defense, blocking out, and rebounding. And at the end of each section, we'll have some great defensive drills for you. And now I'd like to introduce you to my longtime assistant, Dick Helm, who is a great fundamentals coach.
Balance is so important in assuming a good defensive stance. Without good balance, we're not able to make the proper moves in guarding our player, either individually or as a team. The balance that we see now in this picture, we have hips down, feet are spread, and the palms are up. We see that the player is now able to move in any direction. If he wants to move backwards, we'll notice the slides. This is an example of a good drop step. Now we'll look at the drop step once more. Drops the step, he's able to retreat and still get back to a good defensive stance position. This cannot happen unless you have good balance. Now let's watch as our player moves to the left, then back to the right, and then again assumes a normal defensive stance. If we need to, and the shooter is attempting a shot, we can close out with a step forward. The hand is up in the shooter's face on the ball side. The player then assumes his normal defensive stance. Again, as you practice this, it may look easy, but holding this position for several minutes is very difficult.
Your defensive stance and footwork in basketball are so important, especially if you want to play good defense. And we're going to take a look at what we're talking about. First of all, you want to have a balanced stance, okay? You want to have your hips down, all right? You want to have your feet spread apart so that you can slide your feet. Now let's take a look at our demonstrator here. First thing you notice is that here he's in a semi-crouched position, okay? Just like a lion or a tiger. When it's ready to do something, it has to get in that kind of position. Look at the feet right here, spread apart, great balance, okay? The other thing that helps with balance, but also helps you defend, is right here. Look at the hands, okay? The hands are up, palms are turned out, so that now the defender can drop step, he can step forward, he can slap at the ball. He has that great balance. So stance and footwork are so important in playing good defense.
One of the important parts of individual defense is not only the stance, but the footwork. One of the things that we're going to be looking at in this coming drill is the drop step. I want you to notice how our players assume a good defensive stance, and as they slide and the player starts to penetrate around, they will use a drop step. Then, with good defensive slides, they will cut off the penetration of their man to the basket. As you practice this technique on your own, assume a good defensive stance, get good balance, keep your head up, and work on those slides. Let's see how it looks now. Notice a good defensive stance, sliding of the feet, and there's a drop step, preventing the man from attacking the basket. Again, slide the feet, the drop step, and it keeps the man from advancing.
Okay, in this drill, we get a chance to see our stance and our footwork while applying pressure defense. Let's look at the players right here. First, you stay up, slide your feet. Great action there, drop step back. Always keeping yourself in front of the man with the ball, never allowing him to drive to the basket.
One aspect of every team defense is the ability to stop the ball. Along with stopping the ball, we need to rely on teammates to help and recover on their own man. This aspect of our ball defense shows the importance of stopping penetration with good weak side help. Notice how the player comes from the weak side of the court to shut off the drive, and the weak side guard drops to cover the open man. Let's look at it again. There comes a weak side help. Did you notice how the guard went down to help inside? Again, they shut off the ball. Ball's reversed. Here comes help. Weak side player drops to shut off the inside.
Players playing the game of basketball today are so good that no one player can stop the other by himself. And that's why help defense becomes so important. All right, we're going to watch our demonstrators now in a help defense sequence. You see the ball on top here, all right? We got the floor set. We got players in position. Now, once the action starts, watch what happens, okay? So here we go. Right here, we dribble down. Now, let me show you right here, right? This player is pressuring him, and he gets beat a little bit. So where does help come from? It comes from the weak side. This player now has to get into this position to help. This player right here now has to drop down to take passing lane away, and also, as we say in basketball, he has to drop to ball level. All right, let's see what happens now. Right here, you'll see that we continue. The player gets here in time to help his teammate. So what we have is we've enclosed the offensive player. He really has nowhere to go. Over here, look what happened. Our player on top dropped to ball level, so there isn't a pass under the basket that can be made. The only pass is going to be out here, all right? Well, if that pass is made out there, we have a chance to recover. So the defense has been great so far. All right, the ball is passed outside. Now let's look at everybody. Right here, as the ball is passed outside, this man has to recover, okay? Now he can recover quickly because he knows his teammates are going to help him. This player here, he has to recover in this direction, okay? This player, now, what he's going to do is kind of move in this area here, see? He's going to move in this area, so he's in position to help his teammates. All right, let's roll it a little bit and see what happens. All right, we get out there. Now, this is great because it teaches young people how to play good help defense. This player has recovered. He hasn't run by the man, so he's here to play him. All right, this player here has opened up, and you always open up so that you can see your man here and the ball out here, okay? This player here, now, as his man goes out to the top, what he does is he comes up with him, but he also opens up to the ball. Remember, you always want to see the ball, and you want to see the person that you're guarding. Now we're in position to help one another again. That's great. Good help defense can help you be a better basketball player.
The term denial is used a lot in team defense. One of the things that we want to show you next is how to deny a player from catching the ball. If we do this successfully, we can take a team out of their offense, maybe go to an option that's not as good. This requires a lot of effort on the defensive player's part. He's going to have to get his arm out in the passing lane so that the ball has to be reversed in a different direction. This is something all you players need to work on during your practices. Eliminate your man from catching the ball. If he does catch it, as in that situation, square up and play good individual man-to-man defense.
Denial defense makes it difficult for the offensive player to receive the ball. We're going to take a look right here. Here we are denying. The defender is right up. The defender has his arm out in the passing lane. So the offensive player cannot receive the ball. Look at his teammate. He cannot make that pass without it being intercepted. So denial defense worked that time. Now let's see what happens when the player does catch the ball. Again, we're still in a denial state here, but what happens is that we've made the offensive player catch the ball out here by the three-point line. Now it's difficult to make a pass into the post or to take a shot. So our denial defense worked. One
of the most important phases of team defense is being able to defend the post or the low post player. This is an area in basketball where the highest percentages of shots are made. So as a good defensive player, it's important to know how to reduce that percentage of shots with good individual defense. We want to show you next the 4 ways that you can defend the low post. A lot of this depends upon the position of the ball. So let's follow along as we start by 3/4ing the low post man with the ball near the top of the key. Now you'll notice there's a good position. The player has his arm in the passing lane, and it makes it difficult to enter the ball from this position. If the ball is advanced now to the corner, the player has to readjust his position and assume a 3/4 on the baseline side. You'll notice that when he stepped over the front of the player. Let's run through that again. The ball goes to the top, we step over and 3/4. The ball goes to the corner, we step over and 3/4 on the baseline. All right, now with the ball at the top, there are times that we may decide to front the low post player. This simply means that we step over in the front, depending upon a teammate to help us from the weak side. This is a great change of pace in defense. The 4th way, again, as the ball goes to the top, is to play directly behind the man with a forearm in his back, hopefully pushing him off the lane a bit before he establishes his position. All right, let's look at those 4 positions one more time so that you can become acquainted with the ways in which to defend the low post player. We call this the 3/4 from the top when the ball is entered from the top. The ball goes to the baseline, we step over and defend from the baseline. The ball goes to the top and we decide to front. So there's a step over and we look for weak side help from a teammate. The 4th way is to push our man off the block before he gets good position, keeping position directly behind the man.
Defending the post can be a tough job. Coach Helm gave you 4 ways in which we can defend the post and do a pretty good job of it. So let's take a look, okay? The first one that we're going to look at is 3/4ing the post, okay? Now let's take a look right here. This is what we're talking about. Here the defensive player is on the top of the offensive player. He has his arm extended into the passing lane. He's making contact with him. So it's difficult to pass the ball into the post from the top. Now what happens if the ball moves down to the corner? Okay, let's take a look at that. Here the pass is made to the corner. Now what happened was that our defender stepped in front of the man. Remember, he didn't go behind. He stepped in front of the offensive player so that he could get this position here where again he's in position to be on the bottom side but also has his arm extended into the passing lane. Now the offensive player cannot make a baseline pass there, so we've handled that situation. The next one is going to be fronting the post. Now the only time that we front the post, which you'll see right here, our defender is fronting the post. He's in front of the offensive player, but he has to make contact so he knows exactly where he is. Now the only time we do that is if we have help in this area. Now remember our drill earlier, we had the help defense, right? So here again, that's where your teammate would be to give the help defense to prevent the lob pass. The 4th way is we play behind the man. So in playing behind the man, what you want to do is beat him to his position. If you try and beat him to his position and make contact. Now right here, we got contact with the offensive player. Now look at this. We keep our forearm right on his back here to control the offensive player, but we do not allow him into the lane. Now once the pass is made into him, release so that you can control whatever that offensive player does. He'd have a difficult time finding you. So those are 4 pretty good ways of defending the post.
Defensive rebounding. That's a key to successful winning basketball. Remember, we must prevent second shots. Each second shot is worth over a point. Therefore, we must execute terrific fundamentals to prevent this from happening. As we watch now, I want you to observe the fundamentals that our players are using to capture a defensive rebound. They're going to use a reverse pivot in tight to the basket or a forward pivot out on the perimeter. They're going to spread their legs, feet, so that good body balance is obtained. Arms and elbows will be extended to prevent the offensive player from going around. Body contact is a must. Then lastly, stay locked with your man until you can anticipate the flight of the ball. Lots to learn here. Let's see how we do. There's a good check out, good balance, recovery. Again, good pivot. Arms are out. Hips are down with good balance. There's good anticipation to the ball, not leaving too soon. Another good reverse pivot into the man. Now let's take a look at this from the perimeter. We're going to be using a forward pivot to lock our man. It's important to make quick contact, as we've done in this case. Good job.
As Coach Helm says, rebounding is a blue-collar job. You got to bring your lunch pail because it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of contact. It takes commitment, okay, to be a good rebounder. And we're going to look at some of the aspects of that. We're going to review it for you. Right here, look at the defensive player. He has to make contact with the offensive player, and however he can. He's got his arms back so that he can control them. He's leaning on him. He feels him. He is not going to release that man until the ball is on its way down. That allows a defensive player to get to the ball right away. So that's a good lockout there. All right? Let's take a look at a little bit more. Okay? Now we bring the ball up. Shots up. He blocks him out. He never leaves the offensive player until he's got the ball. That's how you become a good rebounder.
Notice the stance here. Hips are down, feet are spread, arms extended. In this position, we can move in any direction. Let's see a drop step, a recovery, a drop step again, and a recovery. A slide to the left, a slide to the right, to the left, to the right, and maintain position. Let's look next at how to close out on a shooter from this stance. A good step up on the shooter and a good recovery. Again, we're going to close on the shooter. We stop the shot and recover to our basic defensive stance. Now that you've seen it in segments, let's see how it looks when we speed it up in game conditions. As you players are watching this, this is something that requires a lot of stamina, strength, and balance. But it's the essence of defense. Shot. Terrific. One of the principles of good defensive basketball is to keep pressure on the ball. In this next drill, we want to watch our defenders assume a good defensive stance, slide their feet, use a drop step as they attempt to cut off the dribbler. If you're able to keep this kind of pressure on the ball, I'm sure the coach has a spot for you on his team. We're keeping good pressure on the ball. See the see the footwork, the good slides, the drop step. These are all things that you can implement into your game. All the way up on the defender. He cuts him off. See the slide, not crossing his feet. Again, cutting him off. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Forces him to cut back, cuts him off. Great footwork.
Remember, to be a good defensive player, you must work on your stance and your footwork. That allows you to make the kind of slides necessary to drop step, to recover, to put pressure on the ball. So it's time. You got to put the time in. You watch the player as he slides his feet back and forth, as he drop steps, as he recovers, as he challenges the ball. All those things are necessary in becoming a good defensive player. We'll look at a one-on-one situation as well, where you can see the player challenging the man, doing all these things that we talk about. Look at his balance. Look at his footwork. How he drop steps right there. How he drop steps again. The whole time keeping the offensive player in front of him. Defense is hard work. It's not anything that's easy. But you can do it if you practice the stance, if you practice your footwork. If you do these things, then you're going to be able to make the kind of adjustments necessary to be a good defender.
Defensive denial is a must. As we watch this next drill, I want you to notice how the defender tries to keep his man from receiving a pass from the top of the floor. Once he does receive the ball, he's going to adjust his defensive position and try to take away a middle drive. At the same time as his opponent makes a drive towards the basket, he's going to have to slide his feet, keeping good balance, shutting off the dribble. Good denial. Keeps him out of the middle, forces him side with a good block. Again, good balance. Notice how his footwork is trying to keep him out of the middle, which he does. Ball has to go back out. Good defense. Here we come again into the middle. It's taken away. Again, no middle. He has to drive. Our defender makes a good stop.
Here again, in playing defense one-on-one, the man pops out and you want to get out there and try and deny him. Once he catches the ball, then you want to deny his path to the basket. You never want to give him the opportunity to get to the hoop. So again, remember, the defensive stance, the footwork, all that's important, even in one-on-one basketball. Let's make it hard for the offensive player to do anything.
Defending the forwards are a big part of team defense. One of the things that we want to illustrate in this next drill is the importance of denying a player the ball. As we do that, it forces him farther from the basket and helps our defense. As the player catches the ball, notice how our defender will square up in order to prevent the drive. We'll see some baseline drives and we'll see some attempts to get into the middle of the floor. Watch the footwork, the defensive slides as our defenders cut off the drive. We also want to watch the help side defense. There will be attempts to double team and still recover on our own man. The double teamers really have their work cut out. They don't want their man to beat them into the middle. Notice how we forced the offensive player out from the basket. We've used good position, good sliding of the feet to cut off the layup. Again, player's forced outside. Notice what a good job he's doing keeping him out of the middle of the floor. Again, does a nice job shutting off the baseline drive with good footwork, hips down, and good balance. Excellent defense.
As Coach Helm said, 2-on-2 wing denial defense is a great way to practice your defense. We're going to take a look at these guys working down here. Look right here. Here we denied, we made him go out. Now he catches the ball and we come give the help. Here's the main defender. Here's the help defender, okay? We've got the player sealed. There isn't any way that this player can step through here to get to the basket. The only pass that he can make is this pass out this way. He can't make this pass because the defender is there. So our help side defense has been really great. So again, the drill is very good in helping you to improve your defense, okay? So work on that 2-on-2 wing denial.
In this next sequence, you're going to see what it means to have good low post defense. You players watching this now, please observe how we can three-quarter our defensive man. We're doing this in order to keep the ball out of his hands. When the ball is swung to the corner, notice how we step over the top so there cannot be a direct pass inside. Also, our low post players are going to take advantage of this from an offensive standpoint by coming to the free throw line for a quick pass inside. If you can master these defensive skills and keep the ball out of the middle with good team defense inside, your team is going to have a great chance to win. You notice the defensive player adjusting his position. The ball went to the top of the court for an easy layup. Again, he's three-quartering on the baseline, stepping over the top. The ball is swung. We lock inside with good defense on the top. Again, the ball is reversed. Players posting up. Notice the three-quarter in the front position. The lob over the top because we had a good lock by the offense.
Now I know we covered low post defense. Coach Helm gave you 4 ways in which you can defend the low post. But when you work on the low post, we also want to work on the offense a little bit too if we can. So we're going to look at our demonstrators and see if we can do this. All right, let's take a look. Right here we move the ball around, player gets to the low post. We want a three-quarter, we want a front, we want to step in front of him. Now, here we move the ball and the player, the defender, here he's caught on top, right? And this player here made a great pass to the top. So what should the offensive player do? What the offensive player should do is lock his man, like this offensive player is doing. Lock him right here, control him, and now the offensive player can make the pass over the top to him, and there isn't anyone between the offensive player and the basket. So it's a good way to work on 2 things where we get a chance to score. All right, let's take it a little further because I want to show you something else. All right, here we swing the ball to the other side of the floor. Now we come back to the top. Same situation we had before where the offensive player catches the defender on top. He's going to lock him, right? So where's the help for the defensive player? Let's look at his teammate right here. I think he's reading a comic book or something, all right? Because look at his hands. They're down at his sides. Not very good defense. In fact, at this point in time, he should be challenging the ball. He should be pressuring the ball. That's what we talked about in good defense. Remember? Pressure the ball. If you pressure the ball, maybe it's not an easy pass over the top. But by not pressuring the ball, let's see what happens. The pass goes in, easy layup. Not very good defense, right? So remember, we want to work on that defense. We want to work on the stance, the pressure, all of that.
Now let's look at some of the specific fundamentals involved in good defensive rebounding. I want you to watch in this next drill the footwork that's involved, the pivoting, the body contact, and capturing the ball before the offense can get to it.
Remember, blocking out makes you a better rebounder. So we have to focus on that. And we're going to take a look at a 2-on-2 drill where blocking out becomes very important. Right here you see the players set, shot goes up, they both block out, and we get the ball. Now let's stop that and see how did we get that ball, okay? So right here the players, they watch the ball and both defenders lock their man. Let me show you right here. Right here we got this man locked right here. Here we got this player locked here, this offensive player. Remember this as a tip. When you lock a player out, keep contact until you secure the ball.
This drill illustrates good help side defense. Help side defenders are those defenders away from the ball. They're actively involved in the whole team defense, as you'll see. Notice the stance that's incorporated. All players have their hips down, arms extended, ready to defend their area. Also notice the footwork. They'll be sliding their feet, attempting not to cross their feet where they might become tangled up. Also, they'll be helping and recovering with teammates. As the ball is advanced, a teammate will rush over and try to stop the penetration towards the basket. The next thing he'll do is try to recover back on his man. Also, as they recover back on their man, they'll be attempting to pressure the shooter. There's a good penetration. We have two players on one, yet they're still getting back to the man. Notice the players away from the ball, how they're defending the 3-second area and still reacting back on their man. Good footwork, good defensive slides. There we have a 2-on-1, and they're still getting back on their man.
Now Coach Helm has talked about defending, about helping out, recovering. Okay, we're going to look at that in this little drill here because I want to show you a couple of things. All right, let's watch what happens. Here we got the ball on top, okay, and we seal the middle, we go to the side to help. Now let me show you what's happening. Right here, we have the defender on the ball. He has good pressure. The man who is covering this man on top drops down to seal so that the offensive player can't split the gap. But what happens in this drill, and that's why coaches, you got to watch this player here is down too low, all right? He should be in this area right here because we already have a player here covering the area. So if he stays up here, then he protects the man who is helping here because he can get to this man out here, see? So you don't want to get too low. Now let's look at it when it happens properly, okay? The ball is swung around. Right here, the player on the wing gets it. Now we're in a trap, okay? We're double teaming. Right here, the defender who is covering the man, the player who came over to give good help, right? Now, let's look at the weak side help, right? We've opened up to the ball real good. He's in a position where he can get here, or if this man here try to cut through, he could drop back and take passing lane away. Or if they skip pass over the top, from here all the way out to here, this man can recover. Now, that's good defense, okay? So remember, what you do in practice is what you're going to do in the game. I hope you enjoyed our program on defense. Also included in this package will be fundamentals on offense. We'll cover dribbling, ball control, passing, and shooting. And at the end of each section, we'll have some great offensive drills for you. Thanks again for watching.
Players, there are a number of things that we want you to remember as we share some tips with you. Your individual improvement will involve a number of areas. Take what you have and develop it. You can do this through camps as well as clinics and tapes and films. Not only effort and practice time, but conditioning will be an important part of your development, not just getting strong. It will involve stamina, strength, flexibility, quickness, reaction time, and vertical lift. Don't leave any of these out. The weight training room will have many aids and programs for you to follow. And coaches will have a big role in assigning you a program. Have lots of work in the weight room and it'll pay off in the future. We're going to be giving now some tips for you coaches. Make sure that you have goals and incentives for your players. Be sure and communicate. Often problems arise with players and parents when there's very little communication. Give your opinions to your players. Share with them your thoughts on substitutions, why they're not playing or why they're playing. And then lastly, make sure you evaluate carefully all that you've done. Another area for your own improvement will be in the area of coach preparation. Read plenty of basketball books. There are many available in different periodicals. Clinics that are offered all over the country where other coaches can share their tips as well. Video and films are an important part of coach development. And lastly, learn to be a teacher. It's a sharing of all these tips and fundamentals that will lead to the successful development of your players. An important part of the practice will be warming up and also cooling down when the practice is finished. This can be done with stretching, jogging, and then light team drill to build up circulation. Then at the finish of practice, cool down naturally, perhaps a shooting game, and then plenty of fluids for your players. The breakdown of practices should include what are you doing on offense, defense, rebounding, fast break, presses and press breakers, post play, free throws, and the role of your assistant coaches. One of the suggestions that we make is that you chart the time allotted to each one of these aspects. Now you'll know if you're spending too much time on a particular area of your game. Evaluation in relation to the goals set for players and teams after the end of these practices is important. The fun part includes some of the strategies that you'll make for games. I'd like to list just a few of these that you can include in your tip sheet. The adjustments and changes should include when to use your timeouts, changes that you'd like to make at the end of periods, the beginning of periods, the role of the last 2 minutes before the half and at the end of the game. You have a check sheet for special plays that you would like to use in certain situations. How are you going to use your substitutes? You need to substitute for offense or for defense. Make sure that you think through carefully all of these game strategies. I've listed just a few of them for you to include. Hopefully, this type of preparation will lead to lots of extra wins for you.